This is Will, and you're listening to The Law Schoolers. This episode, we're going to be talking about things that I wish I knew as a freshman. Again, these are going to be for pre-law students, pre-law law schoolers, and specifically directed towards freshmen. So you can listen to this if you're not a freshman, or if you're really just trying to get into how to prepare for law school in your undergrad. But this will be targeted towards freshmen because these are things that I wish I knew that I did when I was at the very beginning of my law school journey. So when I began my undergrad at BYU, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to law school, but I had no clue how I wanted to do it. I assumed all I needed to do was to get good grades and a good LSAT score, and I could go pretty much anywhere I wanted. Because of this, I actually wish that I slowed down enough to develop a stronger plan. And so in this episode, we're going to give 5 tips on what you can do to slow down and prepare for law school as a freshman. So tip number 5, decide what field of law you want to be your career. Obviously, this is something that is really important, really broad, and you may not even have an answer to this until you are nearly done with law school. But I'd say the sooner that you can find an answer to this question, the better it is going to be for you, because a lot of your major decisions, and when I say major, I don't mean that as a pun, I mean it literally as far as choosing what your undergrad major should be, may actually stem off of this important question. And what I mean by that is, if you want to go into IP or intellectual property law, you actually need to have a license from the United States Patent and Trademark Office or the USPTO. To get a license from them, you need to have a STEM degree. So that's science, technology, engineering, and or math degree, in addition to your JD degree. So by knowing what field of law you want to go in advance, it allows you to be more selective with your major so that you can be more prepared for that field of law. Okay, tip number 4, choosing what organizations you would like to be a part of in law school. Now, this is actually a big deal because there are a lot of organizations that can build on your resume once you're in law school, such as moot or trial court, or being on the law review, which is pretty much the school journal, but for law schools. So being able to know that you want to be a part of those things in advance allows you to prepare for those things in your undergrad. So if you want to join the Student Bar Association, you can make student leadership a part of your undergrad. If you want to be on the moot or mock trial court team, then what you should do is be focusing on finding the debate team during your undergrad. And so there's all these little things. So this experience will not only help you prepare to be a part of those activities that you want to be a part of in law school, but it's also going to build a strong resume when it comes time to apply to law school. Okay, so number 3, choosing the proper major for your field of choice. And this is actually kind of important as well. Not too important because law schools take pretty much every major, but it's something that could help you stand out. For example, political science, my major, had 12,967 applicants to law school in between the years 2018 to 2019. 77% of those applicants were accepted to law school. The next highest category of major with the highest amount of applicants, was psychology with 3,850. So that's nearly 13,000 down to nearly 4,000. That's a big difference between the number of applicants. And so by choosing a more unique major, you could potentially allow yourself to stand out. Obviously, there's a disclaimer there. Not one major is going to guarantee that you get into law school versus another major. And well, I'm a poli-sci major and I was still accepted to law school. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that goes into those numbers that may be irrelevant, but by having a more unique major, you can stand out. For example, language majors really stand out to law schools, and STEM majors stand out to law schools a lot as well. What I'm really trying to say is play to your strengths. If you have an interest in something, don't just choose a major because you think the law school is going to accept that major over another one. Instead, find a subject that you're good at and that you're interested in, and then base your major decisions off of that interest and that skill level. Because if you do that, you will perform well in that major, and that high performance rate and those high relationships that you have with the professors in your major is going to stand out very positively when you're looking for law school applications. Okay, so tip number 2, begin developing relationships with your professors in your major and starting now. A lot of people are going to recommend you wait till your sophomore and even junior year, but I would just say the sooner you can develop those relationships with those in your major, the better it's going to be. I wish somebody related to me how important relationships were with the professors prior to applying for law school. My wife has a very strong relationship with her professors, and even though she's not applying to law school, she could have extremely strong letters of recommendation. So how do you develop a relationship with your professor? First of all, go to your TA office hours to make sure that you perform well on your assignments and your tests, because your professors are going to look highly on you if you have good grades. Second, go to your professor's office hours with purpose. And so make sure you have something to discuss, such as a question on a reading. 3, if you perform well in their class and if you enjoy the professor, become a TA or an RA, research assistant, so that you're working closely with the professor. 4, work hard and show them that you care about the professor and their work. And 5, repeat that steps 1 through 4 with 3 to 4 professors. The more professors you have a stronger relationship with, it's going to, first of all, enhance your connections, to enhance your personal relationships, and then third, those letters of recommendations are going to be extremely strong when it comes to applying for law school. Final tip number 1, begin with the end in mind. So all the principles that I've focused on so far all fall on this final tip of beginning with the end in mind. So if you begin your journey with the end of your journey in mind, the path is going to be easy to follow. So, for example, say you want to go into IP law. If you begin your journey knowing that you want to go into IP law, you can select a major that is a STEM major. You can select a major that has your interests and plays to your strengths. You know what you need to do to get there. You know what schools that you can give you the best shot of developing a career out of that. And you can prepare all your steps because you have your end goal already set. So those are the 5 tips that I have for you. Decide on the field of law you want to be your career. Choose what part of organizations you want to be a part of in law school. Choosing a proper major for the field of your choice. And then developing relationships with your professors. And finally, beginning with the end in mind. So those are the 5 tips. I hope they were helpful. Thank you for listening, and thanks for being a part of Law Schoolers. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Law Schoolers. Before I let you go, there are 4 things I want to say. The first thing is if you enjoyed these episodes and if you enjoyed the website, I would invite you to go and join Law Schoolers Pro. And you can do that by going to lawschoolers.com/join. It's a way for you to support us, but there's also a lot of features there that I think you will enjoy. Second thing is that nearly all of our episodes are unedited. The only ones that aren't are pre-law materials, and the reason for that is so you can actually see the legal material in its raw form as I'm learning it as well. The third thing is that the information contained in these episodes are specifically only for educational purposes. They're not to be used as legal advice, and with that, the fourth thing is if it is used as legal advice, we are not liable. That is, Law Schoolers is not liable for any legal outcomes. Thank you again for enjoying the show. Have a good one.